Welcome, you've arrived. This is your moment to rest, to come home, to yourself. There's nothing to do now, nothing to fix, no one to become, only this breath, rising and falling. Take a slow, gentle breath in and let it go, softly. Again, breathe in through the nose. Feel the air moving like a cool river through the chest, and breathe out through the mouth, as if releasing smoke into the night sky. Everything that was heavy today can begin to loosen now. Every thought that tried to hold you can begin to drift away. You are safe here. You are seen, held, and loved by the stillness itself. Imagine a quiet temple nestled in the mountains. Moonlight touches the stone steps. Bamboo leaves shimmer in the wind. Somewhere, a single bell rings, its echo dissolving into the cool night air. You walk slowly, barefoot, each step an act of returning. The ground beneath you is cool and alive. Every sound, every breath, every heartbeat draws you deeper into this sacred moment. There's no rush here, no urgency, only the rhythm of life itself, moving gently through you. Let your shoulders soften. Let the corners of your mouth relax. The body knows how to rest when the mind allows. Notice your hands, resting quietly. Notice your spine, lengthening, releasing. Feel how gravity holds you, without asking anything in return. You don't need to control the breath. You don't need to try. The breath has been here all along, like an old friend waiting patiently for your attention. As you settle deeper, the sounds of the world begin to fade. The hum of the mind grows softer. You can almost hear the silence between each thought, the space that was always there. Breathe into that space. Let it open, like a flower in the dark. Sometimes, we hold the past in the muscles of the body, in the chest that forgets to expand, in the jaw that never unclenches, in the heart that keeps remembering. But tonight, you don't have to carry any of it. Not the stories, not the old images, not the echoes of what was. Just breathe and let them drift, like petals floating down a quiet stream. You don't have to push them away. You don't have to forgive them yet. Just allow them to move, the way clouds move across the moon, the way water carries fallen leaves without effort. The night air is cool, soft against your skin. You can feel the scent of rain somewhere far away, the hush of the wind weaving through bamboo. Each sound invites you deeper. Each breath carries you further from the noise of thinking. You begin to notice a still point beneath everything, a place untouched by time. That's where we're going tonight. A journey not forward or backward, but inward. Tonight, we'll travel through a quiet story, a reflection on letting go, on how the heart learns to release what the mind cannot control. We'll walk together through the garden of memory, but we won't stay there. We'll bow gently to what has been and continue toward the light that's waiting in the present moment. Because letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Take another slow breath in and exhale fully. Feel the body settle deeper into the earth. Feel the pulse of life moving underneath you. It's ancient, steady, kind. Every breath you take is the world breathing you. The same wind that moves through trees moves through your lungs. The same silence that holds the stars is holding you now. If thoughts appear, smile at them. Let them pass like travelers in the distance. There's no need to chase. No need to explain, just witness and return to the breath that knows the way home. As you rest in this stillness, notice how the edges of the self begin to blur. The line between you and the night dissolves. The mind softens its grip. The heart opens like the surface of a calm lake. What you're feeling is remembrance, not of something new, but of something eternal, the peace that was never lost. The presence that was always here. Let your awareness spread wide now, beyond the body, beyond the room, into the quiet field of stars above. Each star, a memory. Each light, a lesson already learned. They don't demand your attention. They simply shine. You, too, can shine like this. Not by effort, but by resting in what you already are. The night is vast, and you are small within it, yet infinite in your stillness. There's no past to repair, no future to control, only this breath and the quiet space it opens. Let the body rest, let the mind soften, let awareness open, like morning light spreading through the trees. You are safe here, you are home, you are beginning. Take another slow breath in and let it go, gently, completely. Feel the air move through you, like a wave returning to the ocean. Each breath softens you a little more. Each exhale releases a little weight. There's nowhere else to be, no moment other than this one. Let the rhythm of your breathing become the rhythm of the world, the rise and fall of your chest, the ebb and flow of the tide. They are not separate things. Now, bring your attention to the space behind your eyes, that quiet field of awareness, where thoughts come and go like drifting clouds. Notice what it feels like to simply be aware, not thinking, not remembering, just resting in the knowing that you are here. If a memory appears, don't reach for it. Let it pass through the mind, the way wind passes through bamboo, whispering, gentle, leaving no trace. The body breathes, the heart beats, the mind observes. Everything happens naturally. You don't need to manage any of it. Let go of control now. Let the breath take you. Let the earth hold you. You are safe in this stillness. You are supported by something vast and quiet, a presence beneath the noise, like the silence under a mountain stream. Place one hand over your heart and one on your belly. Feel how they move together, rising, falling, meeting in rhythm, like moonlight and water meeting on the surface of a pond. This is the balance of being, effort and ease, inhale and exhale, holding and releasing. Every breath teaches you how to let go without losing anything. Now, bring gentle awareness to your heart. There might be memories stored there, some bright, some heavy. You don't need to open them, just feel their weight. Acknowledge their presence. Whisper softly within yourself, it's okay. You can rest now. The heart doesn't need to be fixed. It only needs to be felt, fully, lovingly, patiently. Notice the stillness beginning to expand. The air feels softer now, your body lighter. Even the silence seems to breathe with you. If the mind wanders, return gently to sensation, the touch of air on skin, the pulse in your hands, the movement of breath through the body. This is your anchor. This is presence. Imagine you're sitting by a slow-moving river. The moon's reflection drifts across the water. You can see leaves floating past, each one a memory, a fragment of something once important. Some are sweet, some are sorrowful, all are temporary. Watch them go. No need to chase, no need to name. They belong to the river now. This is how the mind clears, not by force, but by allowing the current of awareness to carry everything home. Breathe deeply again, in and out. Feel how each breath empties the body of tension, like wind clearing mist from a valley. You are becoming lighter, clearer, more spacious inside. Notice how peace isn't something you reach for. It's what remains when you stop holding on. Let your attention rest now, in the quiet space at the center of your chest. This is where presence lives, where memory, thought, and breath meet and dissolve. As you rest there, listen closely. There's a hum beneath everything, the vibration of stillness itself. It's the same sound the wind makes as it moves through the trees, the same sound the ocean makes when it touches the shore. You are hearing your own essence, pure, silent, unbroken. The past is only an echo. It has no weight here, no power except the one you give it. When it visits, you can bow to it, thank it, and let it continue on its way. You don't have to close the door behind it. Just stop walking through. Feel your awareness settle now, like sand at the bottom of clear water. Nothing to stir, nothing to change. The surface reflects the sky perfectly. In this reflection, there is no past, no future, only this breath, soft and alive. Stay here for a moment, breathing, feeling the world breathe with you. Your heartbeat and the rhythm of the universe are one and the same. Every inhale is a beginning, every exhale, a gentle ending. Let this truth sink in. You don't need to be anywhere else. You don't need to become anyone else. Peace is already here. It's been waiting beneath the noise, beneath the stories, beneath the years. Let the body rest. Let the mind soften. Let awareness open wider now, like the night sky clearing after rain. You are centered. You are still. You are free. The moon hung low above the mountains, a pale lantern in the stillness of night. Its light poured gently over the bamboo grove, turning each slender stalk into a silver thread, swaying in the rhythm of the unseen wind. Somewhere in the distance, a temple bell sounded slow, hollow, timeless, its echo traveling through the valley, like a whisper returning to where it began. Between the trees, the old temple rested, its wooden beams breathing with the wind, its paper lanterns trembling softly, casting golden circles across the stone path. A stream ran nearby. You could hear it murmuring to the rocks, the kind of sound that doesn't ask to be heard, yet fills every corner of silence. And on the worn steps of that temple sat a young monk named Tenzin. His robe clung lightly to his frame, stirred by the night breeze. His hands rested in his lap, but his heart did not rest. His eyes were open, not to the moon or the trees, but to something far behind them, something that would not fade, no matter how long he sat in stillness. Inside, he carried the weight of memory, the face of someone he once loved, a word he wished he had not spoken, a moment he could not undo. It had been years, yet the past moved in him, like wind through dry grass. Invisible, but relentless, he had come to the temple, seeking peace, but peace had eluded him. Even in meditation, shadows rose and dissolved, only to rise again. "Why can't I let it go?" he whispered into the dark. His voice barely disturbed the air. The wind answered only with the sound of leaves. The night deepened. Mist gathered around the bamboo roots, wrapping the earth in a thin veil of light. Tenzin watched the slender stalks sway, never resisting, never fighting. They bent and returned, bowed and rose again. He envied them. They seemed to understand something he had not yet learned. His teacher once told him, "When the wind passes, the bamboo does not remember." Has not. The words came back now, quiet but clear, as if spoken directly into his ear. He closed his eyes. He could still hear the wind. He could still feel the movement of the world. So alive, so free, so unburdened by what came before. He remembered the day he first came to this temple. His sandals were wet with rain, his mind heavy with stories he could not stop telling himself. The old master, Ryokan, had met him at the gate without a word. He only looked at the boy, then at the sky, and said, "Even the clouds don't apologize before they pass." Tenzin hadn't understood then. He thought enlightenment meant silence, a place without pain. But silence, he was learning, could be louder than the heart itself. Tonight, that silence was vast, and in that vastness, he could feel his memories moving, like birds migrating through the dark. He wondered if they, too, were just passing through. The wind rose again, rattling the bamboo, stirring the lanterns, and filling the valley with a breath that felt alive. He inhaled with it, slowly, deeply, and for a brief moment, the ache in his chest softened. He exhaled, and the wind carried it away. The moon moved higher, The bell rang once more. Its tone faded into the mountains, long and pure, as if the earth itself were breathing. Tenzin bowed his head. He didn't have answers yet, only the quiet rhythm of the wind and the bamboo that never remembered. Somewhere within that sound, something in him began to loosen, not vanish, not heal, but soften, the way water softens stone over many, many nights. And though the night was long and the past still whispered, for the first time, he did not chase it. He simply sat, listening, breathing, letting the wind move through him. When the wind passes, his teacher's voice echoed again. The bamboo does not remember. The words settled in his heart, like falling leaves on still water. He didn't try to hold them. He simply let them float, light, free, going wherever the current led. And in that moment, the temple, the wind, and the young monk breathed as one. Dawn crept slowly across the mountains, a faint silver light brushing the tips of the bamboo. Mist curled above the river like unspoken breath. The temple bell had not yet rung, but the forest was already awake. Birds stirring, leaves whispering, water carrying the soft hum of morning. Tenzin stood at the edge of the path, his robe damp with dew, his sandals sinking slightly into the earth. He had not slept. The wind had been kind last night, but his thoughts had not. They came in quiet waves, faces, words, moments, each one touching, retreating, returning again. He began walking down the narrow mountain trail, hands folded behind his back, eyes lowered to the path of stones. Every sound around him seemed to mirror something within. The crunch of gravel beneath his feet, the heaviness of memory, the trickle of water beside him, the slow leaking of old sorrow. His mind, like a restless bird, kept circling the same place. There had been a time, long before the monastery, when his life was filled with laughter, a home, a brother, a promise, and then one mistake, one moment of anger that scattered everything like dry leaves in a storm. No amount of meditation had been able to erase the echo of that moment. He could still see his brother's eyes, the shock, the silence, the turning away, and then nothing. The years since had been penance and silence, yet the memory remained, as if carved into the bones of his heart. The trail wound down toward the valley, where a small village shimmered beneath the fog. Tenzin paused by a wooden bridge, spanning a slow, shallow river. The water there was muddy, the reflection broken. He looked down at it, his face fractured by ripples, as though time itself refused to hold him steady. "Why does the past follow me?" he whispered, "even when I've walked so far from it?" The wind answered, but only with silence. Across the bridge, he saw an old farmer kneeling by the water's edge, mending a torn fishing net. The man's hands were rough and steady, his movements slow, unhurried, each knot tied with the care of one who knows there is no rush to completion. Tenzin watched for a moment, then approached quietly, bowing in greeting. The old man looked up, smiling faintly. "Good morning, young monk. You walk early." Tenzin nodded. "I couldn't sleep." "Ah," said the farmer, returning his gaze to the net. "Then you and the night are alike. Neither of you knows how to rest." The remark carried no judgment, only observation, like a leaf noting the wind. Tenzin knelt beside him, watching the man thread fiber through fiber. The sound of the river accompanied them, gentle, patient, endless. "What are you repairing?" Tenzin asked softly. "My net," said the man. "It tore last night. The river was wild, took more than I expected." Tenzin studied the web of cords, some frayed beyond repair. "Can it still hold fish?" The man smiled. "Once I mend what I can, yes, but the holes will always remain. Fish will slip through, and that too will be fine." He paused, looking at the water. "You can mend a net, but not a river." Tenzin looked up. "Not a river?" The farmer nodded. You can patch what's close to you, but the river flows where it wants. Try to dam it, and it will break through elsewhere. Let it flow, and it will find its own calm again. The monk sat in silence, letting the words settle. The breeze lifted strands of hair from his forehead. He followed the motion of the water, how it carried twigs and leaves without care, how it didn't cling to what passed through. Something in him ached to understand, but understanding, like peace, does not come when chased. He bowed again to the farmer. Thank you, he said. For what? The man smiled. For reminding me of something I haven't yet learned. The old man chuckled softly. Then let the river teach you. It's been teaching longer than any monk alive. Tenzin crossed back over the bridge, the morning sun touching his shoulders. The fog was lifting, birdsong threaded through the air. He walked slowly, feeling the rhythm of his breath against the rhythm of the earth. For a moment, the weight in his chest felt lighter, not gone, but no longer fighting him. Behind him, the old man kept working, the sound of the river folding over his laughter. Ahead, the mountain waited in silence. As Tenzin began the climb back toward the temple, the words returned to him, softly, like a mantra. You can mend a net, but not a river. He repeated it with each step, letting the syllables merge with the sound of his breath. The phrase became less of a thought and more of a pulse, a quiet rhythm guiding him upward. By the time he reached the bamboo grove again, the wind had risen once more. It brushed against his robe, lifted the mist, and carried with it the scent of rain. He looked toward the sky, grey clouds drifting without effort, without memory, and for the briefest instant, he wondered if he, too, could learn to flow like that, to let the river inside him run clear again. When Tenzin returned to the temple, the evening had already begun to fall. The sky had turned the color of quiet ashes, and the first stars trembled in the thin mist above the trees. He walked through the gate in silence, the creak of old wood greeting him like an old friend. Lanterns hung along the veranda, their light breathing softly against the bamboo walls. He could smell the faint sweetness of burning sandalwood, the kind of scent that stays in the air even after the flame has died. The temple was peaceful, but inside him, the river still moved. He paused by the hall, where Master Ryokan often meditated. Through the open doorway, he could see the old monk sitting by a low table, a simple cloth in hand, wiping slowly at an ancient bronze mirror. Each stroke of the cloth caught the flicker of the lantern, sending ripples of gold across the walls. Tenzin bowed deeply. Master, he said quietly, I walked down to the valley this morning. Ryokan did not look up. He continued polishing the mirror, his movements unhurried. And what did the valley teach you, my son? Tenzin hesitated. The river spoke, he said softly, but I could not understand its language. The old man smiled, faintly. Ah, he said, the river speaks in silence. Most people cannot hear it above the noise of their remembering. He lifted the mirror, holding it toward the light. Dust glimmered like tiny stars across its surface. Do you see this, Tenzin? Yes, master. The mirror does not choose what it reflects. It does not cling to beauty, nor reject shadow. It only receives and lets go. He set the mirror down, his voice soft but steady. Your heart has become like this mirror, but covered in the dust of your past. You keep trying to polish it with thoughts, with regret, with reason, yet the more you rub, the more the dust spreads. Tenzin knelt beside him, hands clasped tightly. How then can I cleanse it, master? How can I let go of what will not leave me? Ryokan looked toward the window. Do you hear the river outside? Tenzin listened. Through the bamboo grove, the faint murmur of water drifted into the room. Soft, rhythmic, eternal. Yes, he whispered. I hear it. Then come, said the old man, rising slowly. Let us visit our old friend. They walked through the lantern-lit corridor and down the stone path to the stream behind the temple. The moon was bright tonight, its reflection dancing across the moving water. Crickets sang between the reeds, and the air smelled of wet earth and pine. For a while, neither spoke. The sound of the stream filled the space between them, each current whispering something the ear could not quite grasp. Finally, the master bent down, picked up a single leaf, and placed it gently upon the surface of the water. The leaf spun once, then began to drift downstream, turning slowly in the silver light. "Tell me," the master said, "does the river remember where this leaf once rested?" Tenzin watched it move away, past the stones, past the shadows, until it disappeared around a bend. "No, master," he replied. "The river does not remember." Ryokan smiled. "Then why should you?" The wind stirred through the bamboo, carrying the faint scent of rain. The moon shimmered upon the ripples like countless mirrors, each one perfect in its imperfection. The master sat down upon a rock by the bank. "The river forgets not because it is careless, but because it is alive. It does not hold, it flows. It does not store the past, it carries it into transformation." He looked at Tenzin with eyes soft as dusk. "To hold on is to stop the current. To stop the current is to die before your time." The words landed in Tenzin's chest, like drops of clear water. Something loosened there, not yet gone, but no longer so heavy. Ryokan reached into the stream, cupping his hands. The moon's reflection trembled within the water he held. "Look," he said, "do you see the moon in my hands?" "Yes." He opened his fingers. The water slipped through. The reflection vanished. "The moon was never in the water," the master said quietly, "only in your seeing. So too with the past. It exists only in your remembering. Release the water, and the illusion dissolves." End quote. They sat together for a long time, listening to the flow. At one point, the master began to hum, a sound so low and steady that it seemed to come from the earth itself. It mingled with the water, with the breath of the trees, with the night. Something inside Tenzin began to echo that same hum. A pulse, ancient and familiar. It wasn't an understanding of words, but of being. He realized that letting go was not a thought or an act. It was a surrender, a softening back into the river that had always been flowing. "Master," he said after a long silence, "perhaps the river does not remember, but it never resists either." Ryokan's smile deepened. "Now you are listening." He rose, brushing the dust from his robe. "Remember this, Tenzin. To let go is not to lose, it is to return. The river that forgets itself is still the sea." They began walking back toward the temple. The night was calm now, the air cool against their faces. As they reached the bamboo grove, the wind stirred again, a soft, hollow murmur through the tall stalks. Tenzin stopped, listening. The sound was no longer restless to him. It was music, a dialogue between earth and sky, between what bends and what passes through. He closed his eyes, letting the wind brush against his skin. When the wind passes, he thought, the bamboo does not remember. And in that moment, for the first time, neither did he. That night, the sky grew restless. Clouds gathered over the mountain like dark waves preparing to break. The air was thick, swollen with silence. Even the bamboo stood still, as though listening to something approaching from far away. Tenzin sat in the meditation hall, the candle before him trembling in its small pool of wax. The master had long since retired to his room, but Tenzin remained, eyes half closed, breath shallow, listening to the murmur of wind beyond the walls. Each gust pressed harder than the last, rattling the paper doors, stirring the scent of rain. The temple creaked, old wood bending with each sigh of air. He remembered the master's words. The river does not remember. The bamboo does not resist. It's rained. He whispered them under his breath, like a mantra, but the storm within him was louder. Then came the first flash of lightning, sharp, pure, splitting the sky in two. The thunder that followed shook the valley, and the candle flame bowed in fear. Something in Tenzin stirred with it, a long-held ache, a pain he had tried to silence through discipline, now roaring to life. He rose suddenly, sliding open the door. The wind burst in cold, wild, alive. It wrapped around him, pulling at his robe like invisible hands. Rain began to fall, first in scattered drops, then in sheets, hammering the wooden deck, running down the steps in small rivers. Tenzin stepped out into the storm. Barefoot, he walked toward the bamboo grove, his robe clinging to his body, his breath sharp in his chest. The grove was alive, thousands of slender stalks bending and swaying, each one dancing with the wind, not against it. The sound was deafening, a chorus of creaks and whispers, like the voice of the world itself. He stood among them, soaked to the bone, and for the first time, he didn't seek stillness. He let the chaos move through him. Rain streamed down his face, mingling with the salt of tears he hadn't meant to shed. He saw again the image of his brother, the hurt, the turning away, the years of silence that followed. The weight of all those unspoken words rose in him like thunder. He wanted to shout, to beg, to undo, but the wind tore the sound from his mouth and carried it away into the night. So he stopped fighting. He simply breathed and wept. The storm howled, but somewhere within it, he began to feel a rhythm, the same rhythm as his breath, as the river, as the heart of the earth. It was all one motion, one vast inhaling and exhaling. And within that motion, nothing was separate. A branch cracked nearby, falling with a splash into the mud. The flash of lightning lit up the grove, turning every stalk of bamboo into a pillar of silver. And in that light, Tenzin saw something clear. The trees bending low, their bodies yielding, their roots holding firm. They did not resist the wind. They allowed it. They bowed to it. And because of that, they did not break. He fell to his knees in the wet earth, hands pressed to the ground. The rain poured over him, washing the mud, washing his grief, washing the past. Each drop seemed to say, "This too will pass." And it did. Slowly, the thunder drifted away. The flashes dimmed, the wind softened, until all that remained was the steady hush of falling rain. Tenzin stayed kneeling, eyes closed, breathing in the clean scent of the world after release. The storm outside had passed, and so had the one within. When he finally opened his eyes, the grove shimmered in moonlight, breaking through the clouds. The bamboo stood glistening, their leaves heavy with drops, each one catching the pale glow of the moon. The world felt new, quiet, forgiven. Tenzin whispered into the night, his voice barely more than breath. The storm has passed, outside and within, and in that stillness, for the first time, he felt what his teacher had meant. Peace was never something to be found. It was what remained, after everything else had let go. Morning came quietly, no fanfare, no trumpet of light, just a slow unfolding of the sky, as if the night itself were taking a deep breath. The storm had gone, leaving the mountain washed clean, each leaf trembling with tiny beads of silver. Mist hovered over the temple roofs, curling like incense smoke. The air was soft, alive with the scent of rain and pine. Tenzin stepped out from the meditation hall, his robe still damp from the night before. His bare feet met the cool stone of the courtyard, and he paused, just breathing. Everything felt different now, not brighter, but clearer. The silence was no longer heavy. It shimmered, like light resting on water. The bamboo grove stretched before him, its slender bodies swaying gently in the dawn breeze. Last night's storm had bent them low, but not a single stalk was broken. Each one glistened with droplets, and when the wind moved through, the drops fell like tiny bells of light. He smiled softly. They had survived because they had yielded, because they remembered how to bow. He closed his eyes for a moment, listening to the rhythm of dripping leaves, the distant murmur of the stream. It was as though the earth itself was exhaling after a long night. As he walked toward the back of the temple, he found Master Ryokan already awake, sitting by the stream with his hands folded in his lap. The old monk looked up, smiling faintly. "Ah, the storm did not take you," he said. Tenzin bowed deeply. "It took something," he whispered, "but what it left behind feels lighter." Ryokan nodded, as if he already knew. He gestured toward the stream. "Zit, my son. Listen." They sat side by side on the wet earth. The water rushed softly over smooth stones, each ripple catching the pale gold of the morning sun. For a long time, they said nothing. Only the sound of the river spoke, steady, alive, forgiving. Finally, the master asked, "What did you learn from the storm?" Tenzin thought for a moment. "That resistance is pain," he said, "that the bamboo does not fight the wind, and because of that, it endures." Ryokan smiled. "Good, but there is more." Ismashin. He lifted a twig from the ground and traced a circle in the wet sand. When the storm came, did the bamboo ask, "Why me?" "No," Tenzin said. "It simply bent, and when the rain stopped, it rose again." Ryokan nodded. "This is how peace lives. Not in avoiding storms, but in remembering that you are not separate from them." Tenzin watched the reflection of the sun spread across the stream. Each drop of water shimmered like a fragment of light returning home. He could see his own reflection too, his face calm, unguarded, the eyes of someone who had stopped running. He spoke softly, almost to himself. "All this time, I thought peace was something I had to earn, but it was always here, waiting for me to stop clinging to the past." Ryokan smiled again. "The past cannot follow a man who no longer carries it." He leaned forward, scooping a handful of water into his palm. "See how it glitters? This is yesterday, today, and tomorrow, flowing as one." He opened his hand. The water fell, returning to the stream with a sound like laughter. And now, it is gone, yet never lost. The sun began to rise above the ridge, sending a slow wave of light down the valley. The last of the mist lifted, and the temple stones shone like they'd been newly born. A single bell rang from the hall, clear, round, infinite. Tenzin bowed to his teacher, to the river, to the morning that had forgiven everything. He could feel the warmth of the sun on his face, the cool breath of wind on his hands. In that meeting, warmth and coolness, light and air. He felt the pulse of all things. Nothing to change, nothing to hold, only flow, only breath, only this. As they walked back toward the temple, the master spoke one last time, his voice barely louder than the wind. "The wind has passed, my son. I can't. Dovenant, I can't." Tenzin turned to look at him. There were no words left to say, only gratitude, deep, quiet, whole. And as the bamboo swayed above them, the morning sunlight broke into 1,000 tiny reflections, each one a memory forgiven, each one a beginning. So tonight, as you rest, perhaps you can feel the river within you, the one that has always been flowing, beneath your thoughts, beneath your memories, beneath every story you have ever told yourself. Take a slow breath in and let it go. Like Tenzin, you too can let the wind pass through. Without holding, you can feel it now, a soft current moving through your body, touching every corner of your being and leaving only stillness behind. There is no need to rush, no need to force anything open. The way water clears is not by pushing the mud away, but by simply being still long enough for the mud to settle on its own. You are that stillness. You are that clarity. You have never truly lost it. All the noise, all the heaviness you've carried, they were only ripples on the surface. The depths were always calm. Breathe again, gently, slowly. And when it, feel how the breath enters, fills you, then leaves. It does not cling. It does not remember. It simply comes and goes. Notice how life moves in the same way. A wave of beginnings and endings, moments rising and dissolving, each one sacred, each one enough. When you stop reaching, you begin to float. When you stop remembering, you begin to rest. Let your attention fall now to the space of your heart. There may still be echoes there, to a sound, a face, a whisper from long ago. Welcome them gently. You do not need to chase them away. Just open the door and let the wind pass through. Everything that belongs will stay. Everything that is ready will go. You don't need to decide which is which. Life already knows. Outside your window, the night is breathing too. Somewhere, a breeze moves through the trees. Somewhere, a river carries the memory of the storm and returns it to the sea. Listen, can you hear it? That faint hum beneath all things. The same silence that Tenzin found. In the heart of the mountain, it's here with you now. It's been here all along. Let yourself sink into that silence. Let it wrap around you like moonlight over water. There's nothing you must understand. No lesson to memorize. Only this simple truth. What has passed, has passed. The bamboo does not keep the wind. The river does not hold the rain. And the heart, once it learns to let go, remembers only peace. Take one last deep breath in and exhale softly, completely. The body rests, the mind softens, awareness opens like the dawn after rain. Everything is still, everything is clear. The wind has stopped, the water is calm, the moon shines upon the surface, and what it touches is no longer burdened by yesterday. There is only reflection, pure, quiet, endless. You are safe here. You are whole. You are home. And as you drift towards sleep, you may notice the stories begin to fade, the names dissolve, and all that remains is breath and light and silence. That silence is not empty. It is full of everything true. It is the same silence that has held every dawn, every prayer, every life. The same silence that holds you now. So rest here, in this moment that asks for nothing. Let the mind be light, the heart be open, the soul be still. And if the wind passes through, let it go. For the night is gentle, the world is kind, and peace has never left you. Here's your reflection for tonight. Take a slow, steady breath in and let it go. Again and again, each breath a soft doorway, each exhale a small returning home. There is nowhere else to be now, only this, only the sound of your breath and the silence that holds it. What is the burning house in your life? The place you keep running back to, even though it fills you with smoke? Is it a memory? A name? A story that keeps replaying itself in your mind? Notice it gently. Don't turn away. You don't need to enter it again. Just see the flames and realize you don't have to live there anymore. Take 3 slow breaths. Inhale and feel the air cool inside your chest. Exhale and release the weight that has been sitting there. There's no need to push it away. Simply let it flow out, like mist leaving the valley. As the morning sun rises, with each breath, feel yourself softening, opening, becoming lighter. Where in your heart do you still resist the wind? Perhaps it's the place that tightens when things change too quickly. Perhaps it's the part that clings to how it should have been. Let your awareness rest there, not to fix, but to listen. Can you hear it? That small tremor under the surface, that's life asking to move through you again. Let the wind pass. Let it teach you the art of bending without breaking. Imagine for a moment that you are standing among the same bamboo that sheltered Tenzin last night. The rain has passed. Drops glisten on every leaf. The air smells of earth and renewal. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Steady, forgiving. When the wind comes, you sway, Not because you are weak, but because you are alive. You yield, and in yielding, you endure. Take another breath, and notice how the body moves with it, a tide rising and falling. Even stillness has rhythm. Even silence has shape. You don't need to understand, only to feel the stillness growing within, the peace that isn't made, but revealed. It was never gone. It was only waiting for you to notice. Now, close your eyes. Bring one hand to your heart, the other to your belly. Feel them moving together, a quiet dance between presence and surrender. As you breathe, whisper inwardly, I release. Say it again, not as a command, but as a remembering. I release. Let the words melt into the breath until they are no longer separate, until they become the breath itself. There might be a weight somewhere, a tightness in the chest, a heaviness in the throat, a memory lingering like fog. Do not fight it. Do not name it. Simply let it be here. Imagine it softening under the light of your awareness, the same way rain softens soil, the same way dawn dissolves the dark. You are not here to escape the feeling. You are here to allow it to rest. And when it's ready, it will leave you on its own. Here's something to remember. The river never asks how far it has gone. It never looks back to see the stones it once touched. It just keeps flowing, softly, faithfully, without regret. You are that river. You've always been, and every breath, every act of letting go, is the water returning home. What if you didn't need to heal the past, only to stop reopening it? What if peace wasn't something to chase, but something that arrives when chasing ends? Notice the quiet now, how the edges of thought begin to blur. You are not losing yourself. You are remembering what you were before you started holding on. Listen closely. There is a pulse beneath everything, the hum of life itself. It's in the breath, in the silence between heartbeats, in the space between one thought and the next. Rest there for a while, in that still space, the space where the river meets the sky, where everything stops trying and simply is. Now, bring to mind one thing you've been holding on to, a regret, a name, a weight you've carried too long. See it clearly, as if you're holding it in your hands. Then, with your next exhale, open your palms. Let it fall. Feel the release. Not as loss, but as freedom. The world does not take it from you. It simply carries it where it needs to go. Perhaps the truth is simpler than you thought. Perhaps nothing was ever wrong. Perhaps life was always whispering. Let go and see what remains. And what remains is not emptiness, but space, not silence, but peace. Take 3 more slow breaths. In and out, in and out. With every exhale, imagine the wind moving through you, gentle, infinite, carrying away everything that no longer serves. With every inhale, feel the freshness of the present moment, filling your body with light. This is renewal. This is what it means to be alive. Now let the body grow heavy, supported by the earth beneath you. Let the breath soften until it becomes almost invisible. And in that stillness, know this truth. You are the river that flows. You are the bamboo that bends. You are the wind that passes. You are the peace that remains. When you are ready, let the final breath move through you, a sigh of release, a whisper of surrender. And as you rest in the quiet, perhaps you will feel it. The same silence that held Tenzin, the same moonlight that touched the bamboo. A silence so vast, it remembers nothing, yet holds everything. No need to understand, no need to reach, only breathe, only feel, only be. The wind passes, and the bamboo remembers nothing,